Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know wherever you are. Welcome everyone who has joined us today. So, today is mostly a question and answer session. I'll start the session, but my colleagues will join me some other time, like 15 minutes from now. So, what I'll do is because this is just a question and answer, if you can type in your questions, my colleagues and I, when they come in, I'll try to answer the questions, or else I will start with the questions and then we'll take it from there. But firstly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Chimwemwe Masano. I did my MA International Development at the University of East Anglia. So I won I'm the Chevening scholarship last year. So I just finished my studies. So right now, what we'll do is I think I'll just start with just taking the hi Ejiro.
No, hi. And bye. I guess others will join you soon. Okay.
Okay, I have started the session. If you want to introduce, okay. Hi everyone. So let's see. Let's see if you have any questions, if they have started. Okay. All right. What I'll do right now. What I'll do right now is I'll just take you through the application process as we are waiting for questions to pop in. I'll be looking at my phone. Don't mind me. So I'll be looking at my phone and just go through the application timeline and what you should expect and anything else that will come to my mind right now. So the process itself, as from the Chevening website, it shows that it takes about 8 months from the start of the application process and for you to be picked and start your studies in the UK. So as you can see, it's a very long time for someone to go through. So it needs for you to put in your emotions, you put in your time and everything else. So there's a lot of investments going into the application process itself. So yeah, let me add A0. Hi A0.
Hi. No, just go on. I just came to like help you in the background a bit. So please go
Okay.
on. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for coming in. So if you can introduce yourself to the audience before
Oh,
you continue. Yeah.
hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Chimel. You're so awesome. So my name is Adrian Matilda. I'm doing a PhD in transport planning and on gender, University of Leeds. And I want to say thank you to our host. She's amazing. She's amazing. So please listen to her. She knows it all. Thank you. Okay.
No, no, not necessarily knowing it all, but at least
Okay.
having
Yeah,
some kind of a knowledge. Just
yeah,
going.
she's Commonwealth. She has the whole package inside and outside. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, nice to meet you. And there's Fumi here. Okay, yes, Fumi.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome. If you
I'm
have any
interpreter
questions, start
last time.
typing them. Yes, start
Yeah.
typing them, and then we'll be looking at them. So yeah, as I was saying, if you can see the process, the chevening opened on 12th of September 2023. So right now we only have a week, which is 7 days. So if you haven't started your application, you were thinking of applying, you can still do it in the 7 days because you don't you literally don't need to have like an admission to the universities, but all the same, select the universities that you're sure you can get in if you are selected for the Chevening scholarship. But at the same time, you can also be exploring any other universities that you think you can get in and start the applications after you have put the three universities that you select, because you still have a chance of changing your universities at the interview stage. So all is not lost. You can still more apply for the Chevening scholarship and select the universities that you feel you have a better chance of getting in once you have the scholarship. So the scholarship closes on 7th November. So take note of that. The application is closing like sooner, as I said. And according to the timeline, it shows like that from the 8th of November, they will start now sifting to see the against the eligibility criteria. If you went through the Chevening scholarship website, you'll see that there is eligibility criteria for anyone that wants to apply for the scholarship itself. So if you go there on the eligibility criteria, the first thing that they do is they don't just start reading your essays, but then they will sift you against the eligibility criteria to see who. Hi Benga. Hello. Benga, can you hear us? I think Benga
Uh,
cannot.
just go
Yeah.
on. I think she's gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
just fine.
Okay. I think you come back later. Okay. Yeah. So um, the first step is sifting the candidates against the eligibility criteria, because they don't want to just read too many applications. So they'll see if you are eligible using the eligibility criteria. So check the eligibility criteria properly if you are eligible to apply for the scholarship, because that's the first thing that they'll look for before they go in. They go in and read your essays. So after that, that's when you see other candidates. If anyone has applied before, they send out emails of, we say that rejection emails, which are not even a nicer thing. So they send out rejection emails based on the eligibility criteria, because they now haven't started reading the essays themselves. So after the eligibility criteria is done, then from mid-November to December, according to their timeline, then there's going to have leading committees assessing the now your applications based on the essays that you have written. That's why we emphasize that take your time in making sure that you put the best essays forward for you to have like an interview that is now going to make you have the scholarship itself. So they have independent reading committees who read the essays. I'm not so sure how it happens in the backstage, but I'm assuming they should have some people can read from African applicants, others from Asia, and all of that kind of thing. So those are some of the things that they will read. And after that, we'll go now to the shortlisting stage, which is, according to this, should be mid-February 2024. So they send out emails for interviews, the ones that they'll, after reading the essays, so they'll send out emails per country for people that have been shortlisted for the interviews. So after the interviews have done, everything else is done. The interviews takes place up until April, somewhere there. So you should expect the results of the interviews from June. So early June, somewhere there, you should expect results from the interviews. After the results are out, that's when they give you also time for you to submit a school offer, the offer letters that you've gotten from your schools. So that's another thing that you should be expecting. Benga, are you are you okay?
I am good, ma. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Can you join? Are you able to talk to us?
Oh, sure, yes. That's why I joined. I
Okay.
should talk.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Can you introduce yourself to the people before we start taking the questions one by one? I can see people have started putting up questions.
All right, good evening. My name is Benga Ogundari. I am a Chevening alumnus. I studied at the University of East Anglia. I hold an MA in Media International Development. Currently, I'm also a Chevening BBC fellow at BBC. So I work in BBC as a journalist with the BBC Newsday and Africa Daily. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you can see, our friend Benga here is coming from work. Yeah.
I'm in the car actually. The car is taking me home.
So you don't have any excuse. You can see the mentors are here, even if they are coming from work, they are here joining and wants to take on the questions that you have. So you don't even have an excuse. If you're at home, please after this open the applications. You don't have anything to lose.
Yeah,
So,
I want to also say this. I'm actually in school in between meetings, running here to help and going back. So if we that don't need it are sacrificing to help you, I think you should also invest your time to get this. So yeah.
mhm.
Okay, Chim, I have to leave you now. You can manage this. I need
Yep.
to run back. So thank you. I will come in later again to pop in. Thank you.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
There are
All right.
questions on the chat, so I think you can manage that. All right.
Yes. So we have this question here. I think we can talk with Benga, yeah? So it's from Chilombo Shawa, who is saying, hello, what are the recommendation letters necessary at this stage?
No, you are not allowed. You are not asked to submit your reference letters now. Okay, so yeah, you can submit names of your referees, but then you don't need the letters now. When you need the letters, you will know. By the time you are selected for an interview, the moment you are shortlisted for an interview, they will request, Chevening will request your referees to send their letter. So they can either give you, so you upload it on your application portal, then they will open it for you so that you can upload those two letters. So you don't need the letter now. You don't need letters now. What you need is just to submit the name of your referees and then make sure you get good referees, and that's just all. Don't bother ahead about reference letters now.
Okay, but if you have the reference letters, you can upload.
Oh, sure, yes.
So
If you have,
yeah.
upload them. Upload them.
Mhm, mhm. I think we have another question here. Okay, it says, hello, mentors. Thanks for this opportunity. On the third AC, apart from lectures and modules, what else could I add to strengthen my university choice question? So I think I'll start tackling this question. I think it's about why you want to study in the UK, in which you mention the universities, the three universities that you want to study. So the best way for you to tackle this essay, one is a selection of the courses that you want to undertake. So the first thing is for you to select the courses that are related. There might be courses that are at the university, same university or different universities, but they should be
Mhm,
related.
mhm,
So if you want to study, for example, I would say I'll take an example of a media course. You find media and international development at UEA. You find another one
mhm,
which says MA in media studies at another
mhm,
university. You also
mhm.
have another university which just says media and digitalization or something like that. But all of them,
Yeah.
as you can see them, they are in one bracket. So it's easier for
Mhm,
you to write this essay because these courses are related. That's one thing. The other thing is for you to make sure that you read each and every course that you've selected from those universities to find the unique thing that is providing you at that university. So another university might focus much more, for example, on maybe social media issues. Another university maybe might focus on like journalism, for example. I don't know any other type of thing that they can focus on. Or another one is more focused on research outputs, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So pick up the issues that are coming out from those universities, because even though the courses are similar in nature, but they provide you some other things that are very unique to each and every university. You also have to look at where that university is. So some other things to say, for example, here at UEA, I'll take an example maybe of Benga. There's here at UEA, there's a master's in media and international development. He's learning this a place where he has like media in there, but also has an opportunity to take courses in development. That's a strength that
Mm-hmm.
is coming in from this course. So those are some of
Mm-hmm.
the things that you have to look for. But also we have like the BBC house here in Norwich. So those are some of the
Yeah.
things you can also write in your stories to say, okay, I will have an opportunity to go to the BBC to learn how they do those kinds of things. So look at
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that are also giving you opportunities in there. There are also some courses which offer, like for example, placements, where you
Mm.
can learn what is it that you will get from those placements. You can also mention the places where the students go to in terms of placements.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some
Yeah.
of the things that you can add into that essay, not just talking about the lecturers and the module itself.
Mm.
Also look at
Mm.
some of the additional things that this course will provide you apart from just the learning outcomes. I think maybe
Yeah.
my friend Benga can also put
You
in some
you really you really address it absolutely. Okay, so I mean, so you said in all. See, the truth is that, yeah, the courses are just a part of the essay you are going to write. Okay, but then, like she said, you've got to talk about, the things that attract you to those courses in those school. For me, in my school, you have what we call development work placement, and then you also have dissertation. That is, if you don't want to do dissertation, you can go and work in an international development agency where you learn what they do there, and then you come back and write your own development work reports. I know I wanted to study media. I've been a journalist for 20 years, and I now want to learn international development. That's why I went to UEA. And then plus, there's something unique about Norwich where UEA is that people don't know. It also has the National Center for Writing, which is a UNESCO community for writers all over the world. And I'm a poet, I'm a creative writer, I'm a film writer. So I want to get closer to writers who are established. That was why and that was the things I said in my essay. That apart from going to learn media international development at the University of East Anglia, I will also be able to sharpen my own creative writing skills by going to the National Center for Writing to see how writers come together to do creative writing, to do poetry, to do short fiction, to do film writing. And it worked for me. Okay. I also so these things they are a whole lot. I mean, so yeah, you can look at the modules, like she said, look at the modules. What particular modules? I mean, so I've never done critical discourse analysis before in my life, but I know that it's all something very exciting for me. So when I came here, I did CDA, and I mean, so many things you have to, and then you have to talk about the culture. So why is it that you want to go to that school? Why do you want to study in the UK? You have to talk about
yeah.
their culture, because it's their money you are spending. Talk about
Mhm.
their culture. You want to imbibe the
Mm.
English culture. I mean, so many things you want. So if you don't talk about it, you are shooting yourself. When you talk about their culture, how you can learn from their culture, and how that can also help you become a global citizen that is impacting global development. That's just it. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, I think we have answered that correctly. So there's another question here where it says, my referee is my former lecturer, but he told me that he's no longer in the university, but diverted to something else. Can he still do my reference? So there are a few things to consider here. For me, I would say if you want a referee from your school, I am made to believe that he was not, or he was not the only lecturer you had at the school. Even though I realize that we might have like relationships that we build at the school
Mm,
with our
mm,
lecturers. Not everyone else can provide the referee, but for me, I would suggest to find someone else from the same school, because this one is like at some point you'd want to put it a letterhead. So if this person is
mhm,
not at this school, that letterhead is not going to bear the school itself. So
mhm.
that can be it. As long unless if you want that person to be your referee, but then I don't know how we can go about it. I don't know if Benga, if you have anything to advise on this
Yeah,
one.
in my own case, let me use my own example. I didn't use an academic reference
Mm-hmm.
because it happened to me when I was going to the United States to do the Hubert Humphrey Fellowship. And then the lecturer I contacted to write my reference told me he was going to do it, and I was already getting set for the United States. And then at the last minute, when I needed that letter, he messed up. He stopped picking my course. He would not. He didn't give that reference, and so that was the end of it. So I learned not to rely on them. So I didn't use academic reference. I used incidentally, or maybe interestingly, or fortunately for me, two Chevening alumni gave me reference. One, a blind Chevening alumnus like me, and then another one who is who is a colleague, who is also a journalist. She works at the United Nations now. Okay, so they gave me reference, and they didn't have to put it on their letterhead. So just find very good persons who can speak to your character, who can speak to your professional capabilities, who can speak to your capacity to impact development, and that will be it. Because I mean, if you rely on your lecturers in school, what if they don't, or they are not inclined to giving you that letter? You will be stranded. And then, so
Yeah.
it's up to you to decide. I
So
didn't
I
have my
think,
own letters on my letterhead really, actually.
yeah. So I think for this one, it's safe to say if you want this person to be their referee, they can still be their referee, but maybe they can just talk about being their lecturer and what they are doing now and how that relationship has been forged over time.
Yeah,
So
over
this
time,
person
yeah.
also is more or less like a character reference from the university up to now, because we've established that kind of a relationship. So
Mhm,
what Benga is saying here is like the issue is how the person structure the reference data itself, but at the end of the day, he can provide that reference for you. But if you want a university reference, an academic reference, then maybe if you can find another lecturer from that same school to provide the reference for you, I that's another way of putting it. But otherwise, this person can still more provide the reference for you as it is. Yeah.
mhm,
Okay. So we have another question here. It says, can you please discuss more on the networking essay? It's
mm.
proved a challenge to write on my part. So I think this
Okay.
is a bigger question. It's not like it's not been unpacked, so it's just about the network essay itself. So we'll try
Mm,
to answer it. But if you go back to the channel, the YouTube channel that you have joined, we also have a session where we talked in greater detail about the networking essay on how you can tackle each and every essay for the chevening. So we'll still more tackle it here, but if you have time, go back and watch that video. It will give you more insights in terms of how you tackle each and every question on the chevening application itself. However, for starters, I would say when you are answering the networking essay, you look at the how these networks have impacted. For example, you should look at yourself as an individual. You look at how these networks have also impacted the people around you, for example, the community, and also the other person who is connected to you, how they have benefited from this network. So, for example, I'll just take a simple example. Benga and he and me, we are both at UEA. We are both Chevening alumni right now. So it means we'll be meeting in alumni groupings. So those are the opportunities for us to network. And even here, as we are doing this session, that's our networking point. Where did I meet Benga? I would say I met Benga when we were providing the mentorship sessions, for example. So whenever you're tackling, we are putting out examples of your networking. You should think of how did you meet the person? Who is this person? And what did you do? What did you exchange between the two of you? And what was the
Mm,
outcome? And how did it
mm,
benefit? This relationship that you forged had an outcome that was beneficial to you, to
mhm,
Benga, or to the people around you? So, for example, I met Benga because I wanted to do a mentorship session for Chevening applicants. So I've known Benga because I'm part of the Chevening alumni. So I contacted him. Can we do a mentorship sessions for aspiring Cheveners? So here we
mhm,
are. We are doing the mentorship session. What was the outcome? 14 people. I can see that 14 people from YouTube. Those are the ones I can see. But I know that we have people from Facebook and LinkedIn which are also here. But I'll say the outcome would be 14 people benefited from the mentorship session that we
mhm,
held because of our mentorship session. So as you can
mhm,
see here, it's a networking. The networks that we've had between me and Benga has produced something that is an outcome where other people have benefited from that. So you should see how your networks that you belong to, for example, you can belong to some kind of work networks, school networks, where you
mm,
meet people. So it's better for you to also have a line of explaining how you have met that person, who is that person, what he does, or something like that. It's just to provide like some kind of a background information, which is the
mm,
like the star approach. But at the same time, you should look at what is it that network is trying to solve. Because there should be like maybe there was a challenge, something that you're supposed to. There's a challenge that you wanted to address. So in this case, I would say the challenge would be to make sure more people apply for the Chevening. For example, that's the challenge. What did I do? I used my network, who is Benga, to conduct the mentorship
mm,
session. What was the outcome? People benefited with the mentorship sessions and applied for the Chevening scholarship, and some of them
mhm,
were successful. So
mm.
that's how you put out your examples in terms of networking. So you still more use the star approach in terms of explaining your examples in your networking. I don't know, Benga, you can add on something here on the networking
Yeah,
aspect. Mhm.
yeah. I think you also hit the nail on the air there. Okay, so yeah, as an individual, as an applicant, you must have done something in the last 2 years before you start thinking of applying for the Chevening. Whether you have worked in a full-time capacity or you have worked in a part-time capacity, regardless, you must have met people, you must have interacted with people, and so you must have also belonged to a community. So how these people you have met, both professionals, both practitioners, how this community you have met, how you have been able to use this community or leverage this community to bring about development for others is what you are talking about here. For instance, let me tell you, I am a journalist, okay? I am blind, and I'm also the public relations officer of the Nigeria Association of the Blind in Lagos State. So, in my network or in my relationship essay, that's my network essay. Let me tell you the first paragraph. I said, well, as the public relations officer of the Nigeria Association of the Blind in Lagos State, I realized or I identified that majority of persons with visual impairment are always falling victims of uh, avoidable accidents on the road simply because they don't have white cane or simply because public transporters don't respect their right of ways. And so, because I'm the PRO, I leveraged my community as a journalist to interface with the transport unions in Lagos State, to interface with the road marshals, to interface with private organizations to interface with the media. And so the outcome of that was that we got organizations and banks who provided us with white canes, which we distributed for free every year to blind people in Lagos State. And because these people now have access to white cane, they can navigate the road without getting involved in accidents. And because I'm also a journalist, I leveraged on my community, which is the Nigeria Union of Journalists in Lagos State, to get access to media where I then talk about access to safe, road. And you see, I showed them the links of what I did because I now put a link there where they now saw me on TV on October 15th talking about why Nigerians should respect the right of ways for persons with visual impairments. I hope you got that. So I'm a journalist, I'm a volunteer as a PRO of Nigeria Association of the Blind. And so the communities I've met, I use my professional organization or professional community to leverage advocacy for us. And so that's how you write
Mm-hmm.
that essay to say, okay, this is what I've done to
Mm-hmm.
also bring about development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah. So that's how you just look at the forms of networks that you have and then
Mm-hmm.
look at some of
Yeah.
the things that you have done. Some of these networks will
Mm-hmm.
also benefit you. Some of these networks will also benefit you.
Certainly.
Because
Certainly.
that one other example that I did was also looking at some of the things that has benefited me in terms of work employment. So it's like
Mm.
I've had like my contacts. I've made my contacts, or however I made them, and then I mentioned of how I was involved in their organization as a volunteer or something. So from through that contact, I had like after school, it was easier for them to employ me because they had known me because I had been a volunteer for some
Mm-hmm.
time. So that's something
Mm-hmm.
that's.
Yes.
So that's a network that is bringing about change. I
You
got
leverage
employment.
on them.
Yes,
Mm.
I got employed through that network that I had. So those are some
Mm.
of the examples that you can put in terms of how you have your networks. So it can benefit you as an individual, benefit the other people. Like for example, Benga has said he used the networks that he had to bring about positive change for the blind in Nigeria. So you can see that. Another thing is in here also you can see that there's also some networks where your personal contribution can also help out the other person that is on the receiving
Mm.
end. So those
Mm.
are the three ways that you can see you can show outcomes out of the networks that you have. I hope we have answered that one thoroughly. So we can now go to the other question here. So the other question it's something like an affirmation. So it says, "Hello, I just started my application yesterday. I wanted to ask if it is possible to finish the application within the remaining days, and if so, what are the requirements that I need to fill?" So, my first um, my first advice is start by reading the Chevening website. It is a full packaged resource center. Don't miss the requirements section. Everything else you have to read. You'll find every resource, whatever it is that we are trying to talk to you here. It's on the Chevening website. You'll find information on how to write your essays, on how to select your university choices, for example, on how to write the other essay, or in terms of here I am on my phone. I've just opened a link on the Chevening website where it was also saying about the references and how the references are short. So for example, here on the website it says your application, your reference is an integral part of the Chevening selection process. You must supply names of two references when you submit your application. Please note that your Chevening will
Mm.
not contact your referees, but it's up to you to upload the references. So you can obtain the references
Mhm.
and upload them at any time you have them, but on the deadline that the application is going to give it to you. So leverage the deadlines that are in the Chevening application itself. At this point, I would say focus on your essays, Number two, have research on the research courses, the courses that you want to undertake in the UK, and then write an essay on that one. And make sure that the universities that you select, you are sure of getting an admission from there. How do you know that? You go back to the university website and then you see on the eligibility requirements for that one. And if you know that with these eligibility requirements, I think I can get an admission from this university, you insert that into the application in the application to say these are when you are selecting the three courses, you have the three courses handy. So in 7 days, that's a lot of days for you to have an application and the winning application for that matter. So just make sure that you understand the question and tackle the questions as they are. We also have links we also have links to the live sessions that we held. Please go on YouTube if you can. Go on YouTube, watch YouTube. People have covered on how to write the Chevening essays, anything else, any kind of resource that you land yourself in. If you're unsure, just go on YouTube, just type in Chevening. You'll find a lot of YouTubers who have covered Chevening. Also, the Chevening website, I've said it's one of the great resource that you can have. If you are in groups, please join groups and ask as much questions as you can. But at the same time, just give it your all. 7 days. If you must take on, don't sleep, do whatever you can, but put the application forward. You'll be surprised. You'll be one of the persons to be interviewed. Yeah. So Benga, if you can add anything else you want to add to this person who,
you have done that very
Mhm.
very perfectly. So let us just move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the question here, another one, it says, and what are the requirements are not really important, can be changed later. I don't know. I think it's the same person was it's a continuation.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
continuation.
you can read about the requirements in
Mm-hmm.
the on the websites. I'm saying. So,
Mm. Mm. So the first thing that any applicant should do is to just go and read the requirements. If you qualify, go for it. The requirements that you need to have if you want to apply for the Chevening. One, you should have your
undergraduate degree.
undergraduate degree, and
Mhm.
then you should have worked for 2 years. And they also the work it can be part-time, voluntary, or full-time work, anything else, as long as it's 2 years work experience. And which for this one you can also do like the part-time work that you do whilst in school. It counts as long as it's work that you've done. So that one also counts. You don't have to say, okay, I'm just finishing my school this year, can I apply for the Chevening? If you've had part-time work and it amounts to 2 years of work, you can do that. Because when you're filling the form itself, it counts the hours, and the hours, you just input in the hours, and the hours, if they amount to I think should be 2,000 hours. I don't I'm not so sure, but that should be it. They amount to they'll equal to 2,800 hours, if I'm not mistaken. They'll equal to 2 years of work experience. So that's how you input that. So any work experience that you have, be it voluntary, or you were working part of your school placement, that kind of work, anything else, put it under the work experience itself. As long as it amounts to 2 years, you're good to go. You should be also in the eligible countries, which I'm assuming you are. Yes, there's no age restriction, so anyone else can apply. Yeah, so those are the major requirements that you need to apply. But do verify with the Chevening, because for you to put up a good application, you also have to have a heart of going and doing the research, because all of this will require you to do the research. For example, writing for the essays, no one else is going to search for the universities. It's you who has to do that, who has to do the work of researching for the universities, the courses, what is it they are trying to give you to you. So please, the first thing is just take your time, read the Chevening website in detail. You get all the nitty gritties and put your best foot forward. Yeah. So yes, let's see another one. Uh-huh. How how extracurricular activities play important role in getting scholarships? Benga, can you tackle this question?
Right. Extracurricular activity. Extracurricular activity. What kind of extracurricular activities are you talking about? I mean, so as long as those things that you call your extracurricular activities, help you to forge collaborations, help you to build network, help you to build relationship, and then you are able to apply that, you know, to bring about development. Yeah, maybe you should talk about it, especially. I mean, I'm sure this will come very useful in your networking essay. Okay, that's essay number two. Okay, so
Mm,
whatever extracurricular activity you do, I mean, so the communities you mingle with, the communities you forge collaboration with, how that community is now able to help you to impact development in the lives of others. I mean, so yeah, you can talk about it. Yeah. I mean, so for me, I should tell you that Chevening just wants people who are intentional about development, about bringing about development. So, and there are so many ways you can bring about development. You don't have to work in the UN before you can bring about development. I mean, so yeah, if you, whatever community you join, whatever community activities you are involved in, as long as this has helped you to bring about, development and you can substantiate it, fine, talk about
mhm.
it. But I'm sure that your extracurricular activities will be useful in your second essay, which is on information sharing and relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to put it out there, because these extracurricular activities, as Benka has said, they are those ones that are intentional or those ones that are adding value to your activities. Just as the way
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the other question in terms of for example, the work experience itself. So when you are in school, for example, you can have extra activities, for example, joining in clubs or whatever it is. So the clubs that you have joined, if they are
Mm-hmm.
something that will, for example, they are bringing out change in the communities. Those are some of the things that you can talk, or even some of these issues. For example, even if you join like a sports club, but you have used that
Mm-hmm.
sports club to something that is meaningful for you or for the
Mm-hmm.
other people. Those are some of the things that you can also talk about. So it's not limiting
Mm-hmm.
for you to say in terms of only you. I can only talk about, for example, some of the things that I've done with the maybe organizations that advance development in communities. Anything really can be used for even church activities. There are some church activities that
Mm-hmm.
also help out some of these things. So if you're involved in youth activities in your church, for example, or if you are a Sunday school teacher, what is it that you're bringing out to those children that you teach every Sunday? So those are some of the things that you can talk about, but make sure that they tally in with whatever it is that you're talking about. So the only advice I give applicants is that from the word go, your first essay to the last one, it's one story. So make sure that that story is very coherent. So if you are talking
Mm-hmm.
about anything to say extracurricular activity about football, about church, about being in a Rotary club or being
Mm-hmm.
in a society, in a Bible school, or anything else, there should be something that is coming out of there that will link you to the application in what you hope to achieve in your communities.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we say anyone else can apply for the Chevening scholarship as long as they are intentional in what they explain in the application itself on how these extracurricular activities have impacted themselves, have impacted another person, or their community at large. So anything else, as long as you coin it and it is reflecting to you as a leader in your community, because Chevening is a leadership, they are looking for leaders. That's what they are looking for. They are looking for leaders. So you can be a leader at any point in your life. a leader in your church, a leader in your football club, a leader in Sunday school, a leader anywhere else where you exercise your leadership. That's important as long as you marry it with everything else that you're writing in your essays. Yeah. So we go to another one. It says, as you choose your 3 universities, is it necessary to add your application IDs for the universities you are applying for in the essay? So I'll go in first to this one. The first thing is you have a
Mhm.
500 weighted essay here. So being mindful of the 500 words and use them to the best of your abilities. So it's not necessary for you to have that application IDs put in there because you have a section in the application itself. I think Benga, we have lost Benga. He should be back soon. But then we have a section in the application portal itself where you have an opportunity to upload the application offer letters or anything else. So those IDs and everything else, so that kind of information, they will see it in there. So it's not necessary for you to repeat the same kind of information where they are going to see it in some parts of the application itself. So at this point, I would say at least stick to just writing the what the course is going to give you and what you hope to learn from that and how you use it going forward after you finish your studies. How is it impacting in your career? Those are some of the things that you need to talk about in your essay. The only thing you can mention is I am going for MA International Development at the University of East Anglia. This is it that is going to help me. You continue, and then you go on. This at the University of Sheffield, I've chosen this one because of this thing. Everything else, you go on like that. So I don't think it's necessary for you to put in application IDs because you have a section in the application where you can also add in those kind of things. Thank you. Let's go to another question. It says, hello, thanks for this opportunity. Can you use the same essays and or personal statement for different scholarships or schools? Thanks. Okay. So whenever we are applying for scholarships or we are applying for schools, usually everyone else has that career in mind. What is it that they want to do in future? So for example, if you're selecting your course, it means you have given it a thought to say, this is what is going to help me in terms of my career, in terms of me going forward from here. So these scholarships, the only difference is for you to understand how each and every scholarship wants you to present this information. So it might be similar. Yeah, it's good. Hi Benga, you left us for a
Hi.
moment. Hi. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was
yeah,
network.
yeah, I understand. So there's this question that I'm trying to tackle here. It says, hello, thanks for this opportunity. Can you use the same essays and or personal statements for different scholarships or schools? Thanks. So I started answering the person to say, the only thing that they would want to look for is to understand what each and every question for different scholarships is trying to achieve. So you
Mm,
might have like different parts for different essays for different scholarships that are the same because these essays are personal. They are talking about you. So you might not change
mhm,
some parts of you to fit into a certain criteria. But if they are talking about you and you've written it in some kind of a scholarship, for example, I would say a Commonwealth scholarship, but you think that that piece of information that you've written in there is also applicable to a Chevening scholarship, you can still use that information because it's about you. It's not like something
mm,
else, someone else's story. So it's just a matter of you restructuring the same things that you have to fit into the questions that this scholarship is asking you to to respond to, because it's not of good use to just copy and paste from this scholarship to this scholarship, and without understanding what this question is asking you to put forward. Otherwise, you risk not answering the question entirely. So it's just a matter of you rewording, rephrasing, or making sure that the same things that you wrote in this scholarship are making sense in this other scholarship. But there might be some similar parts that you can maintain. So it's just a matter of editing. Writing is an art. It's about editing and editing and editing and editing, and until it fits into that kind of the
Yeah.
question that you're trying to answer to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I advise you to be very meticulous when you are doing this. Your personal statements that you write for applying to your courses are quite different from what you write for Chevening, please. Chevening is
Mm.
such an intense thing, and you have to approach it with all sense of seriousness. I'm not too sure, and I don't want to advise you to use the personal statements you write for the schools you apply to, I mean the universities you apply to use that same essay in your Chevening essay. It doesn't work because Chevening is asking you direct and specific questions about your contributions to development. But then, for an application to a university, you may not write so much or so extensively before you get admission. So, because so if you are writing to a university to say that, okay, so this is why I think that I'm a perfect fit for your master's program in media and international development. It is quite different from what Chevening is asking you to do in your leadership essay, or in your networking essay, or in your choice of schools essay, or in your career goals essay. So please be meticulous. Don't be deceived that you can use the same essay for all of these things. You will only hurt yourself. So because the essays are specific, and so they ask different questions, and so you have to address those specific questions before you can pass. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just it.
Yeah, the same way when you are writing for applying for university admissions, you can have a personal statement that you submitted to University of East Anglia, but then you go to
Mm-hmm.
University of Sheffield, for example. They also have a structure of what they want you to put in your personal statement. So make sure
Exactly.
that you also read the requirements for that school. What is it they are looking for in their personal statement? Then it will make
Mm-hmm.
sense for you to also tackle that and put forward a personal statement that is very applicable to that school itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I
Mm.
say make sure that you edit the things. Some things might be the same. For example, your name is I'm just assuming your name is the same, but then when you're writing some parts of you might end up that some things that you are highlighting more for this school might not be the same things for that school. And also, if you are saying, okay, I want to come to the University of East Anglia based on their courses, as we said, the courses might be similar in the terms of naming, but they are different in terms of the modules that they are offering. So, as a good candidate, what you need to do is go to each and every course and look for what is it offering you. International Development and University of Sussex, International Development and University of East Anglia might be different in terms of the modules that are offering. So, even if you take an international development course at Cambridge and another one at Oxford, they have different
Mm.
they offer different
Noodles.
modules in the same, even though it's an international development course. So what is it that you for you
Mm-hmm.
to put the best personal statement for that school is for you to understand what the school is offering, and if you think what the school is offering is best for you, you tell them, okay, I've seen that you have a module in SRH. That's that's me essentially. This is what I hope to do in the future. This is impacting me like this in my career. So that's how you do it. And then you go to another school, it's international development, but their focus is on climate change. You cannot use that personal statement because it's completely different. So that's how you differentiate how you write your personal statement. There's going to be so many changes that you have to do. I remember I applied to so many schools and my personal statements were not the same. They were completely different based on the schools. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So another question is, thanks mentors, my network issues did not allow me to get to the tip on the show to enlist to the third essay. Thanks. I think for this person, they can go back to watching this session. I think we'll still put it in the YouTube channel so they can still find it and see, watch it. Yeah. So this person is talking about the extracurricular activities. The question that we tackled, Benga, on extracurricular activities, they are talking like
Mm.
educational extracurricular activities, for example, in trainings and conferences, that kind of thing. So those ones were the extracurricular activities that he felt they can mention them. So I think trainings and conferences, for me, I think they provide a better opportunity for you to network.
Yes.
So, but then just meeting a person at a conference or a training and just saying hi, having their contact, and you're chatting on WhatsApp, that alone is not like something of a network that you can put your in your essay. But what transpired between you guys after meeting, what
Mm.
is it that the outcome of that, just not just having saying hi to each other on WhatsApp, saying hi to each other on FB, that will not count as something that you can just put it, throw it out there, that this is the network that I had, I met them at training conferences and then we started chatting on WhatsApp. No, what is it that that network that you met at trainings, at conferences, provided you? How did it benefit you? And what else did you do between your networks that will offer you something that is tangible to put in your essay? So those are great places for you to meet, to network with people. And how you use that network is what will matter then in your essays as you're applying. So that's how I can advise you on that one. Do you have anything to add on that one, Benga, on trainings and
Yeah,
conferences?
you're right. I mean, so if you attend conferences or you attend workshops, of course, yes, it's only natural for you to meet people, experts there, people you have longed to meet, and then you met them there. So, did you walk up to them, or were you shy? Did you walk up to them and say, okay, so yeah, my name is Benga, so yeah, I'm an advocate, I do this, and then so I'm thinking that, I mean, if I get your contact, we can collaborate to do this and that, and then after the conference or the workshop, did you actually contact them? Did you do something with them? How did whatever you did with them? How did it pan out? What result did you achieve? Those are things that you can put in your essay. Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about forging collaboration. It's all about using those people, using those communities to bring about the kind of development you want to effect in your own community. That's just it.
Yeah. So yeah, I have someone here who says, "I see you, Chimwemwe." Thank you, Gift. Thank you so much for watching us from Facebook. If you have any question, please pop it in the chat, and we are going to see it and attempt to answer your question. Okay. Another one is on the networking. So it says, "Hello, on the networking experience, does it have to be relevant to the course of study? And if you have done a freelancing, will it be required during the interview to showcase?" Have you heard that one, Benga? The question?
The question that if the person has been a freelancer, freelance
Mm-hmm.
what? Okay, maybe well. So like for instance, where at some point in my life as a journalist, I resigned from my office and became a freelance investigative journalist, and that was reflected in my essay that okay, since 2019, I have been a freelance journalist for two media organizations. That is the International Center for Investigative Reporting and the Nation newspaper. And so I told Chevening what I did with those two organizations. So yeah, your freelancing experience counts. Okay, what matters most is how did you use that experience to spur change? That's what we want to know. What particular development challenges or problems did you identify, and how did you use your work, whether as a freelancer or as a full-time, practitioner or professional, to address? That's just it.
Mhm. So I think this question has two parts. The first part is on working experience. Does it have to
Mm,
be relevant to the course of study? Okay. So I know that Chevening provides you an opportunity to even change your career. So you can, as long as you on
mhm,
the when you're filling the application details on work experience, you can put the work experience that you already have. However, when you are selecting the courses, if you are switching from a certain kind of career that you had and the work experience that you had, you're going to explain that in your essays why you are switching to this
mhm,
other course in this other career that you want. So that's where now we have like those um, four S's. For the four S's, number one, you're showcasing your leadership. So your leadership might be coming in from your work experience, your past work experience, everything this that you've done, or in your education, in your personal circumstance, or anything else that you've done that you've showcased. In the same way, networking it can come from your work, your school, or anything else. So that's still relevant. And then you come into this the third essay, which is about studying in the UK, which you talk more on the university choices. When you're talking about university choices, you can also be intentional and tell them why you are transitioning from this kind of work and why you want to study in this kind of courses. Okay, so I'll take an example of my own case. I did different undergrad, and my work was completely different from the undergraduate degree that I had. So when I was selecting the courses, I was very intentional to say that why I want to study these courses is because I don't have the theoretical background of the work that I've been doing. So I want to study international development because this is the work that I've been doing for the past years. This is the experience that I have. In other cases, in some other scenarios, people would have like a certain kind of degree, and their experience which is matching their undergrad, but then for the masters they want to switch to something else. For example, they are founding a company, or they want to be a freelancer, or they want to be a researcher. So you want to tell them to say that if you are investing in me, this is what I want to do with this education. Apart from the fact that I was involved in this kind of work, this is my experience, but I want to build. Make sure that you also explain that you want to build on those experiences that you have into this career that you want. And that's why you want this kind of education to steer you to that kind of career that you want. So having different work experience and choosing another degree doesn't work to your disadvantage, but you have to explain it to them and to convince them that they need to invest in you in that kind of course that you're trying to achieve to pursue, because it's going to help you in your career, or in you becoming a leader that you want to be as you go on forward. So it's just a matter of explaining anything really that you why you want that. So in terms of freelancing, that's what my friend Benga has said, to say if you can also mention that in your essays at some point in your essays, it will be easier. It will be also okay. Or if you want to mention it during the interview stage, that's fine. But I find it good to also bring it out as part of your application, because you cannot leave out something that you feel like that it's a you one of your strongest suit, and leave it to say, okay, let me wait for the interview stage. What if that one was the one that will make them to make you proceed to the interview? So bring it out here when you're writing the essays, because you've got nothing to lose, to put out your strongest points in the essays, because these are the ones that are going to make you to have that interview platform and for you to showcase so many other things that you want to showcase at the interview stage. So bring it on. Everything else you don't have to. If you feel like it's a strongest one, put it forward in the essays than to wait for the interview stage. That's what I can say. So yeah, I think we have so many questions about this. Hmm. So we have Uche here. Uche says, need help reviewing my essays. Maybe tomorrow. Okay. Okay. We have lost Benga a little bit. We have a little network issues, but they are going to come back. So, Uche, I don't know. As for me personally, I would say right now I'm a bit tied up for me to take up any other essays. But then maybe let me ask Benga if he has some time in their hands to review their essays. But if any of us is not available to review the essays, I also would want to refer you to some other to look for other people that can also review your essays. It can also be your family members. They can see if your essays are making sense. It doesn't have to be someone who went through the Chevening or anyone else who you feel like can understand your essays. You can also just put them forward to them. I don't know. Benga, we have Maria here, Uche Maria, who wants to help in reviewing their essays. So I don't know.
Incident, incidentally, I've got 7 essays I'm battling with now. I mean, so that's, I mean, out of 15, I've only been able to attend to 8. So as if I've got 7 more. So that's just it. So, it's a tricky one if I say yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Uche, that's where we are right now. But I would also say if you go to LinkedIn, to Facebook, or any other social media channels, you can also attempt to ask some other people that can help in reviewing your essays that you come across in your country or others in other countries. Just shoot your shot. You don't have anything to lose. If they say yes, it will be okay. But at this point, I think Benga and I might not be available for this kind of work right now because of some other work commitments that we have. So we might not do justice to have your essays and just leave them in our inboxes. Yeah. So thanks, mentors. If you are not into social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, just to name a few, can you lose? Can that make you lose the scholarship? Okay. So applying for the Chevening does doesn't require you to be in these spaces, but I would say that these spaces provide opportunities of networking with people. But if you know that you are already okay in that kind of scenarios, you can apply for the scholarship and get the scholarship without you being on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. However, however, I would say this: being a Chevening scholar, you are required to provide your Instagram handle, Twitter handle, or LinkedIn handle, which they would use in terms of for marketing purposes. So if you are saying yes to the scholarship, you're saying yes for the Chevening Secretariat to use you and other people in that cohort for marketing purposes to make sure that other people know about the scholarship. So if they are putting out a story about you, they just want your Twitter handle to just at least tag you in that way, and also you will share it within your networks. So That's what these Twitter handles are used. But also, I've learned that there's a safest way of using these other platforms if you are there, because these platforms also provide you information in terms of what else that you can do there. You can find work, you can find people in your own sector that you can network with. So being on Twitter, it's not a requirement of you having the scholarship or not. You can choose not to be there, but you can still have there. You can also opt to just open the Twitter handles for that purpose that the Chevening will require you to submit some of these social media handles for that purpose. But that's just about it. It's nothing to say that you should worry about that. I'm not on Facebook, then Chevening will not select me. No, 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 no. They only select you based on the essays that you provide in your application and based on the interview that you're going to have. They are not going to be looking at your Twitter handle to say, what is it that you post on your Twitter handle? But however, what you post on the Twitter handles, if it's not in line with the Chevening, in what the Chevening believe in, if you post something on Twitter or on Facebook, on Instagram, and it's not something that Chevening believe in, mind you, they can take the scholarship back. Yes, they can withdraw it from you. So those are some of the things that you have to learn and to know. What is
Mhm.
it that Chevening believe in as a scholarship community, and what is it as a scholar, as an alumni, what is it that you're supposed to do? Because you don't risk to have the scholarship and then they revoke it because of the some comments that you did. It's not like we are not free to comment on issues, but there are some other issues that you cannot just comment them anyhow. As someone who is an aspiring leader, you just have to make sure that there are some things that will not, for example, escalate hate, for example. Those are not something
Mhm.
that as a leader you're supposed to partake in. You see, or some of the things that will escalate, for example, issues like the way the issues are happening around us in this time of the world. If you follow the news, there are so many things that are happening around us which are so unfortunate at this time. So as an alumni or as a Chevening scholar or as an aspiring leader, you have to be intentional in how you associate yourself with what is it that is happening around you in order not to um, um, facilitate hate in the world, because as a leader you don't support hate. So those are some of the things that we can be mindful as we are using the social media channels. I hope I've answered it correct. Yeah. So yeah, Uche just I think it's a continuation of Uche says it's an international development related. I wish I could have seen your essays, Uche. Unfortunately, at this point, it's not just so possible. Apologies from our end. Okay, so we have another question here from Gigi. Says, does your leadership and networking examples be written in chronological order, or you just mix them depending on how strong the examples are? I don't know, Benga, have you caught that question?
Yeah, the person was talking about a chronological. I don't know what the person meant by chronological order, but then the truth is that before you start writing your essays, okay, sir, you should have the stories you want to tell to evidence that particular section. I mean, what are the things or examples you want to give? I mean, so have your examples ready, okay? When you have your
Okay,
examples ready, you will
Benga,
find so
there was a continuation here. Maybe I should read the continuation that she had. It says,
okay.
let's say starting examples from 2023, then going to 2018, then back to 2022. Or do I have to start with 2018, 2022, and finish with 2023? Something like that.
Oh no, see, that is why you need to be a good writer. I mean, so yeah, they tell you that you can bring your recent experience into the essay, but that does not mean that you can't talk about 2021 or 2020 or 2019 Of course,
Yeah.
I did that. I talk about what I did, what a story I did in 2019, a story I did in 2018. Okay. Yeah, you can navigate your way around the essay by talking about these different experiences, how they, because it's about theme. Okay, so the story you are telling is about theme. How did all of these experiences, whether it happened in 2015 or it happened in 2017 or it happened in 2013, how did they now combine together to create effect? That's what we want to know. So you don't have to start from 2023 and then now end in 2021, or you don't have to start in 2018 and then now end in 2011. How you are able to tell your story in such a way that they create a theme and then end up creating a kind of cumulative effect. That's what we are talking about here.
Yeah. 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 So the thing is, as Benga has said, it's you might find yourself having, like, for example, like 20 years experience, I would say. But in 20 years, you are just referencing the examples that you had at the start of your career. Somehow, as a leader, it shows like you have not grown over the years.
Mhm, mhm,
So as you are mixing up your stories, you can have some story which is, for example, I would say a network which you networked in 10 years back, but that one has helped you right maybe 7 years later. The results of that network, you've seen them 7 years later. So it's okay to talk about how you met like 7 years ago and how that has helped you now 7 years later. You see? So it's
mhm,
about knowing how to put the examples that you have to make sense at that particular point in time you are submitting your application. Okay. So that's where Benga says it's an art in terms of writing. So you don't confine yourself, oh, I should find an example that is 2018 because at least my examples should be recent. No, 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 no. You can talk about an issue that happened in 2011, but you know that it has helped you to achieve something in 2018 or something like that. So it all depends in how you put out your story, because this is story writing in essence. It's story writing. So it's just a matter of how you are crafting your examples to make sense at the present time. But if you're just referencing examples that are just, oh, in 2015, this is what I did. And this, or in 1999, this is what I did. And then it ends in 1999. Somehow it becomes fishy to say, okay, so this person has been working for almost 20 years now. But all their stories are just about 2019 in school, in secondary school, in university. I was a class president, like 1999 as a class president. How about all these years? All these years, have you not had any leadership examples that you can forward them into the
yeah.
essays? So those are some of
Mhm,
things to think creatively in terms of how you're throwing in your examples. It doesn't matter if it's way back or new, but at the same time, you have to balance up the issues to say if anyone is reading about this, how do they feel? So read them and reflect before you even push the submit button, because in that way it also makes you to think about them. Another way for you to think about them is to reflect on that one. There is an option of listening to what you've written. It will make for example, if you just put on listening to what you've written, and then you listen it as for example, it's just like music. So you sit down and think about it, whatever it is that you've written, and then it's playing back to you, and then you listen to them to say, okay, does this make sense? If someone else was reading this, does it make sense for them to even put me in the interview panel? Do I exhibit the qualities of a good leader? You know? So it doesn't hurt even to go on Google to say who is a good leader, what are the qualities of a good leader, and you show those ones in your essays. Then it's easier for you to put out an application that is strong for the panel. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we have we are nearing the end because I think we don't have any questions here. So we have Fumi here says, thank you so much for the opportunity to ace our applications. God bless you for putting this together. Thank you, Fumi. I hope you get the interview and then be selected for the scholarship. And we meet as Chevening alumni. Yeah,
Mhm.
the forum. Yeah. Another one, it says, Friends of the Deaf International Foundation. I don't know, Benga, maybe you know this one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's the
Okay,
one
so,
that interpreted for us. The woman that interpreted for us at our
okay.
last session. Fumi
Ah,
Oguro.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
she's also
yeah,
applying for the Chevening, yeah?
yeah. She's also
Oh,
applying. Yeah,
oh, all the best for me,
yeah,
and thank you so much for participating in this one. That's how it. That's also one of the leadership examples, or something that you can also put. It's you can either put it in networking or leadership. That
yeah.
those are some of the
I
things
looked at
that.
I've looked at her essay already. She has a fantastic essay. So,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, all the best, and thank you for helping us in the last session for in the interpretation. It's much appreciated, and thank you so much, Chevening Scholars, for guiding us through the application. Thank you so much. We appreciate that you've been here. Uh, this has been made possible because you joined us. If it wasn't for you joining these sessions, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to also dish out anything else that we wanted to give you guys. So I think we have finished with the questions. We don't have any more questions. We have Gigi here who says, thank you. I appreciate. I think we have answered her very well for the questions that She had. And we also Blight Kanyoza says, thank you guys. Thank you, Blight, and thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you here today. And we have Ndumbe Daniel who is also saying, thank you, thank you. It was much appreciated, Dumbe for Daniel for joining in. Thank you so much. I don't know, Benga. Before we go, do you have any other last words that you can tell our applicants? Anything else that we missed that you feel? Please do this. It's one of the things that I wanted also to talk to you about. Yeah, please, you can have the floor.
Is that what?
Any other last words that you have before we leave the stage?
Oh, guys, yeah. So it's almost nearing the end of the deadline. So please, I think it's more important that you submit before the deadline, because if you delay, every other person is also trying to submit. So the network will get so jammed that you may not be able to submit. And it happened to a friend of mine. I'm not joking. We didn't get to submit his essay until 12, the day it was going to end. And you know what we did? We distributed ourselves into 5 places, each person in different region. So we just say, keep trying to submit the same application. Anyone that first went in will be the one that we will submit. So it was a terrible one for that matter. We didn't get to submit. The one that got into the application portal didn't get there until the same 12. So you have to submit well ahead of time so that you don't, run the risk of, struggling to submit and then you don't get in eventually. Because I trust me, I can tell you. So it's going to be crazy in the next, 2 days to the end of the application. Everybody wants to submit. So if you now delay till the eve of deadline, it becomes difficult for you to submit successfully. So try and read through your essays, fine tune it once again, and then submit on time. And then you can only pray and hope that so you'll be shortlisted for the interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Benga, before you go, we have one last more question that has come in. It says,
Okay.
thanks, scholars. Any last tip for the last question on the career goals? Yeah, so that's the one I think we didn't talk much about it. So he has a question here, Serge, asking us on tips on the career essay itself.
Yeah, you say you are the one who wants to advance career wise. You know what you want. I know. See now, the reason I am still in the UK today after my MA is because of my own career goal. I already told Chevening in my essay that Yeah, if I you give me the opportunity to come to the UK to study media international development or media practice for development and social change at the University of Sussex, that I've been a journalist for 20 years, and that I think that I would like to have an international exposure that will prepare me for greater engagement in journalism and media and communication. And so when I got here, I found out that BBC has another program. I mean, Chevening has another program that is called Chevening BBC Placement Program. And so I applied again. I wrote another essay entirely. And so I was selected. I'm the only Nigerian selected. And so now I work at BBC simply because I had already told them in my essay that I want to have an international experience in BBC. That's why. So you are the one who knows what you want to achieve career wise. You are the one who knows where you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So what you want to be, where you want to be, tell us in that career goal, and tell us how that is going to also affect development. Tell us how that is also going to enable you impact Chevening, advance the values of Chevening, and also tap into the Chevening alumni community. That is just it. But you are allowed to be as ambitious as you can be.
Mm,
Okay? Thank you
mm.
very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Benga has said, um, everyone else knows what they want, they hope to achieve in their career or anything else. As you can see, the last essay is asking you to mention about your career. What is it that you hope to achieve after you've done everything else? Because they know that after you've had everything else, it all boils down to you as a person, as a career person. What is it that you hope to achieve? So dream big. Um, Go on as even as to say that I want to be a president. But then, if the end goal is for you to be the president of your country, you have to show us the steps that you're going to take for you to reach that level. So that's when you have now medium term goals, short term goals, medium term goals, and that long term. So in your short term, you are going to tell them after you finish your MA, what is it that you concentrate on, which is adding to that bigger goal of becoming a president, for example. And then you also come into the medium term achievements. What is it that you want to do in the medium term as you prepare for the president? And if you become the president, what do you want to achieve in your country as the president of your country? You see that? So you don't just mention to say, okay, I want to be the president of Malawi, for example, because I'm coming from Malawi. You don't just say I want to be the president of Malawi and then it ends there. No, 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 no. They want to see what is it that you're bringing to the presidency that is going to say, okay, here we are. We have the Chevening alumni, now the president of Malawi leading. What is
Mm.
it you're bringing to the table? What changes do you hope to see for your country if you become the president? So, as you can see in each and every essay, there needs to be some kind of research, because you have to know what is it is happening in your country for you to contribute to the change that you hope to see in your country. So you mentioned those kinds of things to say, okay, I'm passionate about these kinds of things. This is what I want to address in my presidency. I want the Malawi to be this kind of country in 50 years time, for example. So those are some of the things that you mention in your essay. In the midterm, this is what I'll concentrate on. These are the outcomes that will come in because of my work that is going to contribute. You also look at some of the things that some other organizations are doing in there, and you contribute to the work that these other organizations, or UK in Malawi, for example, through FCDO, what is it that they are doing in your country and how you can contribute to the work that is already in existence. Because they know that you cannot change the world by yourself, but it's through collaborations with other people that you can make the change that we all want to see in our communities. So mention those kinds of collaborations that you have with other like-minded organizations or companies or people or individuals, those kinds of things. Mention them in your career, and you have yourself a winning essay. I hope this helps. Thank you. So for me, uh, my last tip will be the same as Benga. Please, we know we only have 7 days, and we have some people who have just started their application. Make sure as much as possible you check the time zone you are in, okay? Because the closing date is the 7th, and the time that they put there is British Standard Time, and convert it
Mm-hmm.
to your local time zones. You don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss that, because when you come back, I had a friend who was applying for a certain scholarship. Then they came back, they said, oh, I missed it, I only have an hour to complete this. So you have a lot of work, and don't put work to the last minute. And in as much as possible, fill out the application form in the parts that are necessary. And the good thing with the application, with the Chevening application portal, you can navigate the application tabs and fill the required information, and maybe leave out the essays as you are working on them offline, and you come back and paste them. And make sure you check your grammar, you check everything else. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as your answers are coherent, it makes sense. They don't they will not punish you because of some simple grammatical errors, but at least it has to be grammarly correct. Also, don't just throw in something that they are not there, or a or something. Those smaller things that you can do. Also, please, the use of AIs. We are living in technology, and some of us are very good at using AI technology. So please use them wisely, as also you're doing your essays, because you might find yourself in a plagiarized state, where it will also show that you have plagiarized your essays using some of these AI tools. So use them to just check for your essays. Use them to check your grammar. For example, we have Grammarly and all of that kind of thing. If you are using Chat GPT, it should be something that will give you information that will strengthen the essays. But don't copy from Chat GPT to your essays, because they will also know that it was not a human being who wrote the essays, but otherwise it was.
Turn it in will catch you.
Yes, yeah, will catch you. It will catch you. So you don't want to be penalized for something. And also, for I always say, this is your story. Chat GPT cannot write your story, you know. So present yourself as you are. Present your story, because it's easier for you to defend your own story in the interviews. So if you use someone else's story and you advance to the interviews, you're going to have a hard time for you to defend that kind of whatever it is that you've put across, because it doesn't make sense for you to put in three, for example, we say the minimum can be three examples in the networking and the leadership essays, and then you go there and don't talk about anything else that you wrote in your in your previous example. Yes, you can add some other things as you're talking in interviews, because it's 8 months. 8 months, most things can change. So you can equally put in some other things that have happened along the way after you submitted your application. But at the same time, you don't want to run away too much from the theme that you gave them in your application. So please make sure that the applications are coherent and submit on time. We wish you all the best, and hope to see you. Hope we see you in the UK. I don't know if we are going to see you anyways, but yeah, we wish you all the best, and your studies next year should you become successful. Thank you, and we are going to leave you right now. So it's good night from us. Thank you so much for joining from wherever you joined us from. Bye.